You stretched out on the plush carpet of your best friend Mina's room, munching on popcorn as the two of you gossiped about everything and nothing. The room was cozy, filled with fairy lights and the faint scent of lavender candles. It was a typical girls' night, movie snacks, and spilling your deepest secrets. Without either of you knowing, Jungkook, Mina's older brother, was home for the weekend, quietly working in his study just down the hall. The door was slightly ajar, allowing snippets of your conversation to drift into the otherwise silent hallway. Okay, let's talk about it. Mina suddenly sat up, her face lit with mischief. Are you ever going to admit it? You frowned, pausing mid bite. Admit what? She rolled her eyes dramatically. That you have the biggest crush on my brother. You choked on your popcorn. I do not. You said, but your cheeks turned red. Please, she said, throwing a pillow at you. You get all weird and fidgety every time he's around, and don't think I didn't see the way you were staring at him during dinner last week. You groaned, burying your face in your hands. Fine, maybe I think he's attractive, but who wouldn't? He's like a walking Calvin Klein ad. Mina laughed, clapping her hands. Finally, you admitted. But that's it, you added quickly. I mean, come on, Mina. He's Jungkook, Mr. Billionaire CEO, everyone's dream guy, and I'm just me. It's never going to happen. Mina leaned closer, smirking. You so want to be the mother of his future kids. You froze, your face turning beet red. What? What kind of insane statement is that? Oh, come on, she teased. Admit it, you have thought about it. You grabbed a pillow and threw it at her, laughing despite your embarrassment. You are crazy. Crazy accurate. You sighed, leaning back against the couch. Fine, if I were to dream about some impossible future, maybe, just maybe, I would want to be the mother of his kids. But don't you dare tell him that, Mina. I will never live it down. From his spot in the hallway, Jungkook's pen froze mid-note. His sharp hearing had caught every single word, and his usually stoic expression softened into a mix of surprise and amusement. A smirk tugged at the corner of his lips. So you wanted to be the mother of my future kids, huh? Well, how can I let this opportunity slide? He said with a smile. What you didn't know, what no one knew, was that Jungkook had been in love with you for a long time. It had started innocently enough when you and Mina became inseparable during college. Back then you were just his sister's lively, sharp-tongued friend who had a knack for making every room brighter, but over time his casual admiration turned into something deeper. He remembered the way you always greeted him with an easy smile, the way you talked animatedly about your dreams, and the way you teased him when he got too serious. You were the first person who didn't seem intimidated by his title or the power he had. To you, he was just Mina's older brother. Sometimes a nuisance, sometimes an For years, Jungkook had convinced himself to keep his feelings buried. You deserve someone uncomplicated, someone who didn't have the weight of an empire on his shoulders. But hearing your words just now, the raw honesty in your voice, it shattered every bit of restraint he had clung to. You were sprawled out on Mina's bed, still giggling over your earlier confession. I can't believe I said that out loud, you said, burying your face in a pillow. Mina laughed, tossing a piece of popcorn at you. Oh, come on, admit it. You have been holding that in forever. Maybe, but he's so out of my league, Mina. He's your brother and a freaking billionaire. Mina rolled her eyes. So what? He's still human. Honestly, he would be lucky to have someone like you. Yeah, sure, you said sarcastically, but your heart warmed at her words. You were peacefully sleeping in your tiny apartment when a loud knock at your door startled you awake. Crumbling, you shuffled to the door, still in your oversized pajamas and fluffy bunny slippers. Opening it, you were greeted with the sight of Jungkook in a crisp suit. Good morning, he said, flashing his trademark smirk. Morning, what are you doing here? I heard you're ready to be the mother of my future kids, so I thought I would make it official. Your jaw dropped. Wait, what? He leaned against the doorframe, casually inspecting his nails as if proposing marriage at 7 a.m. was a perfectly normal occurrence. You said it yourself, no need to play coy now. You blinked, heat rushing to your face as you suddenly remembered your conversation with his sister the previous night. You you were eavesdropping? Not intentionally, he said, shrugging. You two were being loud. Hard not to hear. You buried your face in your hands, groaning. This is so embarrassing. Why, it's not like I'm complaining. You peeked at him through your fingers. You're not? He shook his head, a small smile playing on his lips. No, in fact, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box, opening it to reveal a sparkling diamond ring. I thought I would make things official. Your jaw dropped. Jungkook, what? I'm serious. You're smart, funny, and you have somehow managed to make me think about you more than I should. So what do you say? We'll have cute and smart kids. You stared at him, your heart pounding in your chest. Are you proposing to me right now? Depends, he said, smirking. Are you saying yes? You blinked, completely overwhelmed. This is insane. Maybe, but so is spending the rest of my life wondering what could have been. So, what do you say? You stared at him for a long moment before finally breaking into a laugh. You are impossible, and yet you are smiling. He pointed out, slipping the ring onto your finger. Looks like a yes to me. Later that day, you were sitting on the couch staring at the diamond ring on your finger, still in disbelief. You couldn't quite wrap your head around it. Just yesterday, you were telling Mina that you liked Jungkook, and the thought of having a future with him, maybe even kids, was like a dream. And now here you were staring at the ring he had slipped on your finger, an engagement proposal that had come completely out of the blue. You glanced over at Jungkook, who was busy making coffee in the kitchen. His smile was still there, never leaving his face, as he hummed lightly to himself, completely at ease. You couldn't help but feel giddy. This was real. He was real, all your thoughts from last night and that heart to heart you had shared. Everything led to this moment. You both had talked for hours today, sorting through emotions, promises, and the big steps ahead. It felt surreal but incredibly special. As you stared at the ring, a sudden thought crossed your mind. Mina had to know. You couldn't keep this to yourself any longer. With a deep breath, you quickly grabbed your phone and texted her to come over. You needed someone to share this overwhelming excitement with, and Mina was the one who had been with you every step of the way. Just as you hit send, in less than 20 minutes, the door opened and there she was. Mina stood at the entrance, looking visibly shaken, as if she had just run a marathon. Her eyes scanned the room, and when they landed on you, her gaze flickered down to the ring on your finger. She froze. For a moment, everything went quiet as her eyes widened, and she blinked rapidly, clearly processing the sight before her. Jungkook, still focused on his coffee making, didn't notice her immediately. He gave you a quick glance from across the room, his smile never faltering as he continued preparing the coffee. You could tell he was happy, but then suddenly his eyes caught sight of Mina's expression and he noticed the confusion and shock written all over her face. Mina stepped further into the room and you were ready to explain. Wait, what? She looked back and forth between you and Jungkook, her hands flying up in disbelief. I leave you two alone for one day, and now you are engaged? Jungkook leaned against the counter, grinning widely. What can I say? When you know, you know. He chuckled, clearly amused by the shock on Mina's face. You were trying to suppress a giggle but failed miserably. Yeah, we have been talking about this for a while now, Mina. It's just happened. Just happened? Mina exclaimed, taking a few quick steps towards the two of you. Her expression was a mixture of disbelief and astonishment. Are you seriously telling me that after all this time, you two are already engaged? You tried to laugh it off, but the nerves were starting to settle in. It sounds crazy, I know, but it doesn't feel crazy. We have been getting closer every day, and well, this was the next step. It feels right. Mina turned towards Jungkook with a skeptical look, her arms crossed tightly across her chest. And you proposed just like that, out of nowhere? This is, I don't know. Are you sure about this? Jungkook raised an eyebrow, clearly amused at Mina's reaction. Of course I'm sure, he said, walking closer to her. I'm serious about her, Mina. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I'm in this for the long haul. Mina blinked, glancing between you two before shaking her head in mock disbelief. I leave you for one day, and you two are already pulling the "we are engaged" card. This is why I can't leave you alone for 5 minutes. You felt your cheeks flush. She looked at both of you. I know it's a lot to process, but it wasn't a rash decision. We talked about it this morning. We have been thinking about it for a while. Are you seriously telling me you went from not even being a couple last night to a full on proposal this morning? Jungkook gave you a teasing smile, squeezing your shoulder gently. It wasn't that fast. We had a conversation this morning. You looked at her. He heard our conversations last night. Mina looked at him while he winked. She sighed, dropping herself on the couch. Oh, so now it's just a conversation, right? Because nothing says conversation like a proposal and a huge diamond ring. Can we take a moment here, please? You interrupted, raising both hands to stop the onslaught of questions. It's not as crazy as it sounds. Well, maybe it is, but I swear it just felt right. It's not as spontaneous as you're making it sound. Mina let out a loud laugh, almost incredulous. Are you kidding me right now? It's completely spontaneous. You two were like this close to just being friends last week, and now you are planning a wedding? What happened overnight? Well, I guess I just realized that we both are ready. Mina took a deep breath, her expression softening just slightly. Alright, but I still don't know if I'm ready for this new chapter in your lives. You do have some explaining to do, especially about how you went from "I like him" to "I'm engaged" in less than 24 hours. You smiled, feeling a warm wave of affection for your best friend, knowing she was just looking out for you. You'll get all the details eventually, I promise. Mina stared at you one last time, clearly still processing the whirlwind of information she had just received. Fine, but you better not be pulling some prank on me, or I'll be the first to call it out. She leaned back onto the couch, throwing her hands up in mock surrender. Alright, I'm accepting it. I guess I just need time to adjust. You and Jungkook shared a glance, his arm still around your shoulders, and then looked back at Mina, smiling in unison. Thanks for understanding. I'm still in shock, but still, thank won't work. I want my niece and nephews as soon as possible. Your cheeks turned red while they laughed. Well, don't worry, the wedding details can wait, but we'll fill you in, Mina. Don't worry. Mina groaned, slouching deeper into the couch. I swear you two are going to be the death of me. You and Jungkook laughed, the excitement of the day finally sinking in as Mina joined in, the three of you basking in the warmth of your new reality.